This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so statement of cash flow. And let me see if I can share my screen. So based on what I have here, first team up is Christavia Pope. That's team 4. That's the first one I have. Is team 4 ready? Going
Are
once.
we
Going,
just are we
so
just saying like how we got the answers?
was your full team here, Miss Pope?
No, sir, not yet.
I'm here.
Yeah, we're waiting on Maya.
So who is here from your team?
Just me and Jatavia.
Okay, so Jatavia, what's the first thing y'all did? What problem that you all have? Number what? 4?
Yes, sir. Problem 84.
So what's the first thing y'all did?
Give me a second.
Hold on 1 second, Mr. Boy. I'm getting it pulled back up to this Johnson.
Okay. You all up and ready yet?
Yes. So the first thing that I did was um I did the beginning cash balance
Okay.
and the left ending cash balance.
And what did that tell you?
It helped me solve the change in cash flow, which is like the last step almost.
Okay. So you're changing cash flow based on this is what 600,000, correct?
My change in cash flow was 500,000. Is that wrong?
500,000. Okay.
Okay.
I hope y'all can see
Okay,
this.
I got it.
What's the second thing y'all did?
Find the cash flow from investors. Hold on.
Well, That's what you
So
did, secondly. Tell me what it is then.
Well, the equipment part of it is 350,000, and the land sale was 600,000.
So in your problem, you had a gain on the sale of land of what, 500,000?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so you sold your land
Yes.
and you bought some equipment.
Yes, the equipment was for 350,000.
So you bought
but we went
350,000.
wrong somewhere, and we don't know where we went wrong.
Say that again.
We went wrong somewhere, but we don't know like where at.
And the problem, we were still trying to figure out what error it was as to why everything wasn't balancing, but
Well, let's look at your problem. Your income was 500,000 net income. And so you got that in. Your depreciation was 200,000. You have that in. And I see some numbers. I don't see the description by them.
Oh, for the increase in current assets?
Mm-hmm. I
Okay.
see 300 and 300, but I don't see any numbers.
Yes, so
I mean, any
for
descriptions.
yes, sir. So the first 300,000 is accounts receivable, and the second one is inventory.
Okay. Okay, so you got that in. Then next you put in your depreciation.
Yes, the
That was,
depreciation expense, which was 200,000.
then you had this land and you got rid of the land.
correct.
So the gain on the land was 500. It cost you 100. So your cash from the land is 600,000.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That looks fine. Accounts payable went up 200,000. So you got that as a source. Your long-term bond went up 100,000. You got that as a source. Common stock went up 750. And how did you calculate your dividend?
Okay, so I don't know if this is like completely right, but we did the beginning returned earnings, and that
Okay.
was 300,000, and then we did the net income, which is 500,000,
Mm-hmm.
and we're supposed to add those, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, and then I got 800,000, and then I subtracted the ending return earnings, which was 400,000. So my dividends was 400,000.
Okay. So that's all your accounts, correct?
Yes, sir.
So if you add up, let's go to operation. You add up your debits. You say this is 900,000. You add up your credits, 1,100,000.
Mhm.
So it looks like this should be a minus 200,000, maybe.
Yes, sir. I put it to the right, 200,000.
So you had a decline in cash flow from operations, correct?
Yes. So if it's decline, will it be right there or will it be under
It'd
another?
be right there, but you just need a minus sign on it, or parentheses or something,
Okay.
Okay.
so you know it's a minus 200. Then with your cash flow from investments, a plus 250. So that's 50. And then for the third part,
For the financing.
that was 450. So it would appear that 450 plus 250 is how much?
To 75. Is that right there? Oh no. Oh
How
yeah,
much is
it is.
450 plus 250?
700,000.
And if I subtract 200, how much do I get?
500.
Wasn't that what you're supposed to get? So why were y'all saying you weren't balanced?
Okay, because I thought we were supposed to like add all the numbers, not so. Okay.
Um,
You know, if you add positive and negative numbers, some of it's going to net out.
mhm.
Yeah.
All right, so the next question, are y'all going to invest $1 million in this company?
Mm,
Y'all didn't put anything down for that. You're supposed to tell me. Cash went up by what? So are you going to invest $1 million? That's the $1 million question. That's half the answer, And y'all don't have it down here, but gotta be able to make a decision. What you gonna do?
Uh,
mm, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
You don't know.
Yes. Let's see. Cash. That was 500,000. I'm gonna go
But
with no. I think.
didn't I say last time that if operation was negative, that was a problem? Did I not say that?
Yes, you did. That's why I said I think I'm gonna go with no, but I'm still
Oh, that's
unsure.
why you go with no now. So
I
what
said
is?
that I know.
But you gotta make a decision. See, you lose points when you don't make a decision. You're supposed to make a decision. You're supposed to have it in your answer. Okay. The problem, number one, we got a minus 200,000 operations. That's already problematic. Even though the company had net income of 500,000, all of that came from the gain of the asset. But that's non-recurring income. So when you put that over here, that takes, that just shows you that your net income was really more like zero. You didn't, that is, your net income was zero till you put that gain in. And so operations is supposed to have a positive number from operations. So we subtract it out over here so that operations is just operations. Okay, operation is just operation. When you sell this land, that's not recurring. So the land is like you selling your car, going to Vegas and spending the proceeds and then coming back. If you don't have any more land to sell, then you're in bad. So okay, who all showed up for this team today?
well, we only have 3 people in our group, anyways. But I don't think Maya's here yet.
So you have 3 people in the group. All right. X. Okay. So I have to think on this grade. But when I say make a decision, you got to look at the data and make a decision. Okay, let's see who's next up. Look like
Yes, sir. Uh, want me to go ahead?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
Mr.
ahead. That's team three.
Yeah, team three.
So the first thing I was looking for was the cash flow, the beginning cash balance, the less ending cash balance, and also the difference.
Okay.
So and I'm on problem 8-3 5.
Yeah.
But uh, uh so what I did was went to the balance sheet. They had $100,000 in cash 2012, and 2013 they had 150,000 in cash. So the difference was 50,000. So what I did was take the information, put it at the bottom in the chart.
And
Okay.
put it in table flow and then change the cash flow.
So
Okay.
your change in cash was a plus 50,000. What else happened?
Okay.
What did you
And
do
for the
next?
second, what I did next, I went look for net income.
Mm-hmm.
So for net income, we didn't have a net income. We actually had a net loss,
Net loss, yeah.
Okay.
which was 25,000,
Okay.
and I took that and put it under cash flow operations for
Next.
net loss. All right. Next, see my notes. Look for depreciation expense,
Depreciation, yeah.
and went to the balance sheet. Saw that the 2012 we made had 25,000 in
Mm-hmm.
depreciation, accumulated depreciation. In 2013, we had 50,000 in accumulated depreciation, and the difference came out to be 25,000. And I
Okay.
entered that into the depreciation expense.
Next.
And then next, we look for dividends.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at the state. It was under statement of return earnings, and
Yeah, accounts receivable.
So it had
it
it
said
already calculated for you, right?
Yep.
uh, yeah, and they already calculated it was 25,000. And entered the rest of the accounts payable, inventory, and accounts receivable, along with common stock and long term bonds.
Okay.
And for total part one, we had got 100,000 on the left, and on the right of it, we had 50,000, which came out to be 50,000 as the net change.
Okay.
And then under cash, total part two, we only had equipment, so we just dropped it down since it was 50,000.
Yep.
We just dropped it down, and the total came out to 50,000, and that changed. And for part three, we had 75,000 on the left through the common stock and the long term
Long
bonds,
term borrowing.
and then on the right we had 25,000 from the dividends,
Mm-hmm.
and the net change was 50,000. And once we did the math and added 50,000 plus 50,000, that was 100,000. Minus the 50,000, that came out to be 50,000, equaling change in cash flow.
Are you going to invest $1 million?
Yes.
Why?
Well, we in a positive. Feel like that gain. We if we invest more money into the business. If we invest $1 million, feel like we can gain a little bit more than uh, a higher percentage return. So we gain with 150% in return. So probably get 1.5 million back if we invest $1 million.
Okay. What
And
team members do you all have absent today?
okay, for Andre Gibbs, he said he was feeling sick, and Ashley, she in Dallas right now, so she couldn't connect due to internet issues.
They having a freeze, in Dallas. The weather is bad.
All right. Okay, let's go on to the next one.
Good job, Benny.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
All right, for our example, we had a change in cash at 300,000.
Okay.
The company had a net income increase of 600, I'm sorry, a net income of 650,000 as a source of cash. The company has a depreciation of 50,000. The company has dividends of 150,000, which we got from adding the beginning retaining earnings of 300,000 plus the net income of 650,000 to get 950,000, then subtracting the ending retaining earnings of 800,000, leaving the dividends to be 150,000.
The assets or accounts receivable, it increased by 100,000 and became a use of cash. Inventory increased by 300,000 as a use of cash. The equipment increased by 450,000. The company had gained $500,000 worth of land after selling land. The accounts payable increased by $200,000, and the company did not increase or decrease its long-term bonds.
So are you all going to invest in this company?
The only thing that's making me question it is the purchase of the inventory, but I think we would. Yes,
Yeah,
it's becoming clear on how to read it, but I think we would. Yes.
Okay, you got significant net change in operations. As long as you have that, you're hoping they will
Mm-hmm.
sell us inventory and everything. And so here there was a gain on the sale of land, but that did not impact. So this adds up, Ms. Ashley. Did this check out? 454.
I wasn't quite sure on how to balance it out. I
Well,
put it, well, we put in the information, but I didn't know how to check what part to see what evens out.
you have to add parts 1, 2, and 3, and they
Okay.
got to equal. If your change in cash is 300, that's what they got to be. So you have 450 plus minus 50, that's 400. And down here you got 150. So you're not adding, you're not, what did y'all leave out, Ashley? Let's see if I can get the problem up. Y'all had problem what?
Number 8-6.
Hey. So if it don't add up, we don't know whether we should invest or not. You had number what?
8-6.
Oh, 8-6.
6.
Let's see. So we had this land that was 100,000, and the gain on the land was 500,000. So what were our proceeds from the land?
400,000.
Wait a minute, banker. You had something that cost 100, and you
Oh,
made
500,000.
500.
I see. Yeah,
What?
it was a gain of 500,000.
Okay. If you had something that cost you $10 and you made a profit on it of $50, how much money would you want?
How much money would I want?
If you bought something for 10 and you wanted to make a profit of 50,
Oh, I want $60.
okay? So in this problem, the same thing applies. So on the
So then it'll
sale
be
of the land,
600,000.
that should have been 600,000.
Okay.
Now the other issue you have is that you didn't subtract that gain out. You know, in the last problem, they subtracted that gain out. So right here, you are supposed to have 500,000. So that means this would be what? 950,000, right? So instead of a positive fourth of amount here, you got what you got here? What you got now?
I can't tell where you are. You may be on a different monitor.
I'm on part one.
Okay.
Can you see it? Okay.
Are you editing on your screen, or are you just reading off of the document?
What you submitted. Yes, on the screen.
Okay.
This what you, so all I did, I went in here. Remember, if you got a gain and you putting your proceeds down here, which was 600,000, then uh, but if you put the 500 in here as the gain in here, and so this is 950, what do you have as your net change in part one now?
300,000.
Well, add them up. Add these up, then you add these up, you put another 500. So this is now 950.
Okay.
So you got sources 900, uses 950. So what's your net change going to be? Well,
400 and no 400. 500,000.
okay. On the left, you got these sources. Net income, depreciation, accounts payable 900,000. Your uses, receivables, inventory, and also the $500,000 gain on a long-term asset. So when I add your uses up, you got 950. Okay.
Okay.
So if my sources of cash are 900, my uses of 950, so this number now becomes what?
50,000.
And a minus 50,000, right?
Yes.
So you going to invest that $1 million now?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. So what team members of yours were absent?
We're missing Arias Willis.
Everybody else is here?
Yes.
Okay. Let's get that corrected. So moving right along, Michael Sewell's and Company, Team 5. And let's see if I can download this. So they worked on the Ponzi scheme for us. And once they put their information in on the Ponzi scheme, they came up with a minus 4 million in part one, 6 million in part three, and nothing, in part two. We didn't have an investment. So, Team 5, what does that tell you about the Ponzi scheme now? You're muted. See, Mike, you're muted. Okay, now. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
We would not invest. We do not have any money coming in, so we would not invest in that company. That operations is a negative number, so we would not want to invest in that.
So you can see how a simple statement like this, if you requested this statement, would put that in perspective. But unfortunately, in these schemes and everything, people don't request the statement, and so they don't see that there's no operating money. In fact, because of the salaries, it was a negative 4 million. So you got to have operating income. If you don't have operating income, that's a problem. Now, what about problem 5, Michael? Got all these team members. What happened to problem 5? What team members do you have missing today, Mike? Is Chase Milton here? He's here. What about Rihanna? She here?
I'm here.
Okay. T Swan?
I'm here.
T Swan is here. And then what about Mariah West?
I'm here.
Okay. Well, since all y'all here, where's my problem on 5 at? Where is problem 5? Can't hear you, Mike.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, hear you now.
Yeah, when I uploaded it, I just uploaded the Ponzi scheme, so that was my fault.
Well, let me see if I can find problem 5. Well, Rihanna, what's the first thing y'all did on problem 5?
I'm trying to pull it up. Where is it exactly on the course content?
I got it up here on the screen now. Can you see it? Do you see it?
I can't see it at. Can somebody in my group send it to
I,
me and like group me?
All right, Chase. What did you do on this problem, Chase? I gotta be speaking up since y'all can't hear me.
I was confused. I had did my part for the wrong problem.
You did your part for the wrong. Well, what part did you do?
The income, it was for the problem that you had left up on the screen for our last class.
Mm-hmm. Why you did that? T Swan, what part of this did you work on? Ryan, what part of this did you work on? Okay. Team 5's gonna have to. Well, I won't say. Let's move, but let me see who else is in here. Oh, time for James Williams.
All right, so
Hello?
I'm part of James Group.
Okay,
Y'all can hear me.
we can hear you.
All right, I'll go first.
Okay,
All right, so the beginning cash balance um, for our company is 100,000 in 2012, and then the cash balance is 300,000 in 2013. So the net change in the cash flow is $200,000, and then
okay. What did y'all do next?
So what we did next, of course, we did an order. We went to tier 1 and we did first we put the net income in. It had a positive net income of $350,000. And then we started doing the assets. They had depreciation for 50,000. That was in the amount. Inventory for 50,000. That was in source. And for the ones that was in use for assets, it was an account receivable for 75,000. And then when we go down to the liabilities, we had an increase in account payable for 200,000. And when you added everything up in the source in part 1, it was 650,000. And you subtract it from the use in part 1, it was 75,000. So 650,000 minus 75,000, it came out to 575,000, and it was a positive number.
Okay. Next in the group, what happened in part 2?
So my assets would be the reason that my money is going down.
Say what?
The assets will be the reason why my money is going down. So it would be a subtraction of, it would go from 650,000 to 575,000.
So you bought some equipment in IBM stock. You tell me that's what you did.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who's the final person in that group?
And then the next part is we have the common stock of 50,000 in the source column, and then we also have the bonds, which is 250,000 in the source column since we borrowed money, so there's cash in the company, and the total of that is 300,000. And the payment of dividends, which is in the used column, since it's cash leaving the company, is 100,000. So the net change of that is 200.
Okay, look like we had an issue with the internet. So going back to team one, are you going to invest $1 million?
Yeah, we keep hearing the echo. I don't know what you
Okay,
asked.
let me see. Well, you all just talk.
We can't understand what you're saying
We
because
It's
it's
can't
like
lagging
understand
echo
you.
on your voice.
really bad. Is anybody else lagging or just Boyd?
I think it's
Just
just
me.
him.
Let me just see.
That's a sign it need to be off.
Uh, I see the question that you put into the chat. I would invest money into the company because the operations came out as a positive number. The only thing that caught my attention was he was spending a lot of money with like with the equipment and the stock. So he spent a lot of money like buying new assets. But as far as like was he gaining a lot of money back in his operations and stuff like that? Plus he had a nice size income. So yeah, I would invest the money into the company.
Okay. Okay. Still doing it. I tried to go out.
All right, Mr. Boyd, that's me. I think I'm the only one in my group that's ill, as far as I can see. Okay, just give me 1 second to pull it out. So for mine was 8-3. I mean 8-2, problem 8-2. So the first one I start off with is beginning cash balance. So my beginning cash balance was 150,000, and the ending cash balance was 875,000, which leaves the net change of 725,000. The second thing that I did was the net income. They don't have no net loss, so the next one was net income. The net income was 800,000. The third one was depreciation expense. So for their depreciation is, so the beginning accumulated depreciation was 25,000, and in 2013 it had 125,000. So the difference was 100,000. So for the accumulated, oh no, I'm sorry, that's wrong. The depreciation was 100,000. The depreciation was 100,000. Of the fourth thing I did was dividends. So there's no dividends on here, so I had to follow the formula to get it. So for the formula, my beginning retained earnings was 300,000. My net loss was zero because there was no net loss. So 300,000 minus zero is 300,000, and then from there, our ending retained earnings was 900,000. So 300,000 minus 900,000 is 600,000. So our dividends was payment of dividends was 600,000. The next one is accounts receivable. Okay, the next one was accounts receivable. So in 2012, they had 75,000, and then in 2013 it ended up with 50,000. So the change was 25,000. And so under part under part one, cash flow from operation, accounts receivable is 25,000. That's for source. For inventory, they started out with 150,000, and in 2013 they ended up with 300,000. So the change is 150,000. So for inventory, I have that in the first part as inventory and use of 150,000. The next one is equipment. They started off with 100,000 and ended in 2013 with 400,000. So the difference is 300,000. So for equipment, that's under two cash flows from investments. So it's purchase of long term asset, and it's a use of 300,000. The next one is accounts payable. So they started off with 100,000. Okay, so they started off with 100,000 in 2012 and ended up with 50,000. So the net change was 50,000. So for accounts payable, I have that under decrease in current liabilities. So accounts payable use of 50,000. Next one is long term bond payable. So in 2012 it was zero, and then in 2013 it was $450,000. So for bonds, I have that under section 3 for a source of $450,000. Next one on the list is common stock. So I have common stock. They started off with 50,000 in 2013. It ended with 100,000. So the change was 50,000. So common stock is under section 3, a source of 50,000. And that's it. So for section 1, the totals of part 1 is 925,000 for source, and the use is 200,000. So the net change was 725,000. For section 2, total part was a use of 300,000, and the net change was $0. For section 3, the total source was 500,000, and the use was 600,000 with a net change of 100,000. And I said that I would invest in this business because it's the beginning cash balance was 150, and ending was 875,000, which is a 725 net change, and so they ended up in a positive. So I would invest in this company.
See if I can say anything.
Muted.
Okay, I'm back. I blame Ashley. She didn't tell me I was on there 2 times. Any one of the Ashleys. Okay. Now, Corin, what did you do with the equipment?
Equipment, I have that under purchase of long term asset, and it was
But why didn't you have it in your total? I mean, when you add, I don't think you adding up.
I have it in a total
Where?
as use.
But it's also supposed to be over here.
I can't see where else.
Let's see. Keeps doing this though. Clear cut. Some reason the formula's in here or something. But anyway, in part 2, you have a minus 300,000. Yes, ma'am. And I don't see how you're using this in your total as you do your calculation and get your amount. So you're off somewhere. Your net income of 800, and you had change in cash of 725. So why are you not balancing? Equipment went up 300,000. So you got, if you bought 300,000, that's got to be in there. Uh, did you calculate your dividend correctly?
I used the formula that you discussed on in the
300
video.
plus 300. So what was your dividend? Uh, the formula said beginning retained earnings 300. Okay.
Yeah, 300,000
Net income 800.
net income. Yeah,
So that's 1,000,001. Less ending retained earnings 1,000,000. So what did your dividend need to be?
wait, wait. What is the formula again? Just without the numbers. So it's supposed to be beginning retained earnings and
Beginning
net.
retained earnings
Uh-huh.
plus net income minus ending retained earnings to give you the dividend.
That's what I got wrong. So the beginning was 300,000 plus 8, which is 1,010,000 minus 900,000. That was the ending retained earnings. So
Yes, minus the 900. You're right.
900. Yeah. So I would have 110,000. That's what it should have been. 110,000.
Wait a minute. 300 plus 800 is what?
11. So
Yes.
1.1 mil.
All right. Minus the ending retained earnings. So your dividend should have been 200,000.
Yeah, 200,000.
So this number should be 200,000. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You think
That
you can
means
get it to balance now?
if I substitute 200,000, that means that it would be the net change for there would be 300,000.
So you need this minus 300 if it'll come. Okay, so that's okay. So you need a minus 300 here. Then you need a plus 300 here, right?
Wait, I can't see that.
So
So the plus
725
mhm,
minus 300 plus 300 equals what?
minus 300, 725,000.
Which is what you're supposed to be at, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, he's working by himself, so he's working hard. Okay, so let's see if we can go to number 8. Would you invest, Corin, in that company?
I said I would.
Yeah, it still looked okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
would.
said yes.
It's got 725, so that would be okay. Okay, what do we have for our last company?
All right. Hold on. All right. So at first, I looked at the change in the cash. My beginning balance was 100,000, and then balance was 50,000. So we went down $50,000 with the change in cash. After that, I went up and looked at the net income. I had a net loss of $25,000, and then I looked at my depreciation expense. I had a gain in that $200,000. Then I went down and looked at my current assets. I had an increase in both of them. One was accounts receivable, $400,000, and inventory for $300,000. Then I went down to my land. My land, I had $75,000. I had a loss in land of $25,000, which the total comes out to $100,000 loss in total. Uh, then
Say
after
that
that,
again. Say that again.
I
Say
lost.
that
So in
again.
total, I lost a hundred. In total, I lost $100,000 in land.
You
Right?
lost 100,000. Okay.
Yeah, I lost a hundred. Yeah, I lost 100,000 in total. And then at the top, when I looked at my income statement, it says the loss on sale of land was 25,000.
So how much money did you get from the sale of that land? What did you do? 8?
You said how much money?
Yeah.
How much money did I get to sell the land? $100,000.
Okay, the land cost
I lost.
you lost 25, so you got 75,000. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Who else is on
Okay.
this team?
Yeah. Candace, I think she in here.
Is anybody else
No,
on
I'm
your
not.
team here?
Candace is here, but I don't know if she's here. I don't know.
You gotta be talking if
Nobody
she's
else
here.
is here though, besides Candace.
I don't see them. They're not talking. So keep on talking then.
All right. So then I went to look at my long-term asset of equipment. That was $350,000. It was a use. And then on my part three, I had common stock, gained $450,000 in common stock. And for my long-term bonds, I had a loan of $200,000. And for my payment of dividends, I had $125,000 in dividends. So in total for my part one was $300,000. That's a negative, so I wouldn't invest in this company because of the rip. It's negative in the operations. And then for my part two, I had a negative number of $275,000. And
Okay.
then for my part three, well, I had a loss of 27. And then part three, I had a gain or a positive $525,000.
So this should be 525 positive.
Yeah, 525 positive.
If you combine those, do you get $50,000 loss?
Yes, sir. Are we supposed to add the first two to track the cash for financing?
Yeah, you got to do whatever it takes to get to this number. So your top two are negative. You add them together, then you
Yeah,
subtract that so you look like you're there.
yeah.
So like
I
I
got
say,
fifty
when you
thousand.
invest in this company,
You said what? Say that again.
well, as you said, because this is negative, you would not invest in the company.
Yeah, I said I wouldn't
So,
invest. Yes, sir. Because my operations number was negative. Yeah.
okay, so some of y'all need a reprieve for Tuesday. You did numbers
Everything was
negative.
good.
So what?
All right. No, I'll just make sure everything was good. All right.
Well, we came through. So let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So let me go ahead and assign these. Okay, 8, 9 is team 1. Okay, 8, 10 is team 2. 8, 11 is team 3. 8, 12 is team 4. Okay, so 8, 12 is team 4. 8, 13 is team 6. 8, 13 is team 6. And
Which one was
team
the
8, 13 is team 6.
no for team two?
You gonna make me go all the way. Team 2, you were at 8, 8, 8, 9, 8, 10, I believe.
Okay.
And then team 5 and team 8, which is now team 7, you all have 8, 14. So I want everything perfect on Monday. So on Tuesday, this is the first day we worked on it. So we had, some ups and downs, and some people didn't have any help. So, Corin, are your people working with you? I guess they're here sometime, aren't they?
Yeah, they be here. This is just the only day they haven't been here.
Mr. Boyd, I still see that I ain't I miss that you had me missing on the first day of class
Who
on the
is that?
spreadsheet. It's a speed.
Chris Speed. I will have to go back and work on that speed class.
You got me as having been absent on the first day of class too, but I was a late register.
You were here late? All right,
Yeah,
I'll
I
look at
registered
those.
late.
You
All right.
registered late.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Well, the key thing that is I have to make sure you have been here in the first place. So, that's really, I'll be able to go in and correct those. So I know I got a couple of those to do, and I'll probably work on those. So you should plan to work on these and then be ready for an examination on this on next Thursday. You also have got to do your statement of, your statement on cash flow for your company, your investment, where you're going to pick up a company. So you need to have the names of your company on that you're going to invest on Tuesday. Okay. So I guess team leaders, you can check with your people, see what companies they're doing, and then send it to Mike. And then Mike will send me all the, everybody in the team that they're doing. So I need that on Tuesday, the name of the team that everybody's working on. So team
So
leaders get it to Mike.
so
Mike
you want this
to me.
individual each individual
It's
person?
individual. Everybody doing this for themselves.
Okay.
Everybody's going to take a team and work to. All you're doing is you talk a little bit about the company. Then you go in and you pull up the cash flow statements, and you're looking at the summaries in each area. So all thing you're going to be looking at what's told in part one, part two, and part three. That's going to be online. All you're doing is pulling it up, and then making a decision whether you would invest in the company or not.
And
Okay.
we can use any company, correct?
It's got to be a
Or did it?
publicly traded company
it
so their
right, right.
financial statements are available, unless you got a small company where the statements are available. But no
No.
Nikes,
I'm
and
asking, are you going to give us a list of companies, or we can research and find our own company
that's
publicly?
your own. You're doing this yourself. You're getting your own company,
Okay.
but no Nikes and Apples and stuff like that. Okay, Amazon, none of that. Local companies would be preferable, or companies that you work for, or you plan to work for. So just get the names of those. Should not be any duplications. Could be, but hopefully everybody will have different companies.
So can you do banks? Right? You can do banks, right?
Yeah, you can do banks.
All right.
What bank you looking at doing?
I was probably either going to look into J.P. Morgan, Chase, or
Why don't you do a
Bank of
small bank?
America.
What? Do a smaller one than J.P. Morgan.
Emoji Farm.
What?
Emoji.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay.
Because you have to get your hands around it, and it'd be much more difficult to do a J.P. Morgan, Exxon Mobil and things like that. The thing is to let you look at this and make a decision. So it will help you, on the examination, as opposed to, uh, you go and somebody got all this cash, and then so you say, well, it's got a lot of cash, no problems. That's not what we're trying to do. There's no right or wrong answer. So just get a good company that challenges you to look at it as we were doing these problems, and determine whether you would invest $1 million or not. So sorry about all the hiccups. Sometimes that will happen in terms of the internet service. So hopefully we won't have much more of that. So everyone have a good weekend. I think it's warming up a little bit. Uh, the what everybody did, was decent. That wasn't the issue. The bigger issue is so many people absent, and how would they do on an examination? See, so that's more my problem than whatever. But everybody will be 8 to 10 today. Okay.
Okay. I got a question. So as you can see, I did turn my assignment in, but I named it wrong. I named it financial review instead of cash flow. Uh, is that okay?
Yeah, but if it's there, that's fine.
Okay.
And what I asked you to do is, I think, put the name of everybody on the first page of the hand. You don't have to put it in the title in the what you save it with, but when you first get there on that first page, just list everybody.
On the first, like on the written part, when it actually write a little summary.
No, on the first page, like if you're doing, like when you were sending me the cash flow statements,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I would have liked to seen the names up here, like Kevin and Candace is here. I'd just like to see the names here to see who worked on it.
Wait, can you show me? Let me see.
Let's see. See what he did?
I see his name on top of the
That's
what
all.
says
That's what I
Kevin.
want. The name of everybody who worked on it right there.
Okay.
That's the first thing I want to see when you turn it in. It doesn't have to be in the save title, but it needs to be right on your whatever you turn it in.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, I
so
added.
you all have a good one.
I have a question real quick. So you
Okay.
want each of us to pick a company and then discuss it with our team leader, and then
You
the
just
team
give your
leader.
team leader the name of the company
Okay.
that you're going to do your research on. Then the team leaders are turning those in the mic who will turn them all into me. So I'll know the names of every company that everybody's working on and see if there are any that I have an issue with. So all you're doing is doing the name of the team for Tuesday, then you turn
Okay.
it in on Thursday. It doesn't take a lot of time to do,
Yeah.
but it's how, it's teaching you that you should be aware that teams publish cash flow statements and you should look at those statements. Got it? That's the
Got it.
purpose of the
Thank
assignment.
you.
One of your easiest 10 points this semester. Anything else?
Wait, what's the easy 10 points?
That assignment where you're doing your uh, cash flow analysis for your company, independent company. There's no right or wrong answer. You're just pulling it up and saying, you know, the numbers are there, the cash flow statements are done. You're just using those numbers and telling me whether you would invest $1 million or not. Okay?
Okay.
So I just want you to get used to looking up that. Okay? Okay, well, you all have a good one, and I will see you all on Tuesday.